So one of the things that I have a lot of clarity around now, and I know that it's been with me throughout my career in education, but I'm really starting to shape ideas and models and different things around it, is this idea around our K-12 space is truly the foundation of everything. And that's how our educational system has to operate. We have to understand that regardless of who you are, what your background is, what you want to do when you get older, we have a duty and a responsibility to think about how we are designing our systems and structures within our schools to make sure that we're laying a very, very strong foundation for whatever route you go. I think what we've fallen into is something that I've noticed throughout my educational experience, as well as even stepping into it from the side of being an educator, is we often silo these industries. In our education system, we silo it as well. You go into your K-12 experience being set up for blank, right? Maybe that's 4-year college or, whatever that is. And then from 4-year college, you go into industry, whatever that looks like. And we've really created these one lens tracks of how things should go. I think where we've done a disservice is we've never broken out of those silos to think about education through the lens of, if we're putting a child through our educational system from when they're in kindergarten all the way from when they get ready to graduate high school or be in high school, what avenues and what things are we doing from an instructional lens, from a development lens, from a experience and opportunity lens, in order to help them create different tracks for what learning and meaning in their education looks like? Because the idea should be, for no matter who you are, that when you're going through that K-12 track, you are getting poured into the foundation of you, so that when you're entering careers, regardless of what it is and what it looks like, when you're going into different trades or different tracks related to furthering education, it doesn't matter regardless of what that looks like. You have the skills when you're engaging in your community, a positive member of society. You have all those skills. That's the way that I view and look at education. I heard a superintendent talk about it and really thinking about designing his their school district through that lens of, what are we doing when we're tapping into community, when we're tapping into industries, when we're looking at what we're creating around curriculum and instruction and opportunities? How are we looking at the K-12 setting as this absolute foundation to just pour into the development and growth of people? And that's why when I talk about whole child development, whole educator development, social emotional skills coupled with academics, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this entire full circle scope around, through their educational experience of kindergarten through 12, how are we truly setting them up to have a solid foundation? That's how we need to view education. We have to stop looking at it in one specific lens and break that silo open to think about industry partners, community partners, and different ways that we can all collectively come together to grow and develop our students. Because at the end of the day, regardless of how long you're in education or what you do, every person who goes through a K-12 setting is going to end up in our world, in our society, in our different industries and fields. And so what are we doing to support them? What are we doing to grow and nurture them? What are we doing to help them in our current context and what the future looks like, really build a strong foundation for themselves? I had a conversation the other week with an individual that was talking about their child. I believe he was either a freshman or sophomore in college or high school, and just really struggling. Very, very smart, but a lot of the things that our education system is set up to create, the traditional route, doesn't allow his skill sets and his creativity and the way he learns to shine. And so he's not connected to his learning environment. He doesn't like being there because he doesn't find value in it. And it makes complete sense. But again, that's why we as educators and we as a system have to start thinking about those things, because we have all different types of learners with all different types of backgrounds, with all different visions and stuff of what they want to do with their lives. And we have to be able to respond and be equipped with the structures and the skills to be able to help those things come to life. Right? Our system is just a reflection of what we've been educated on. And when we're missing certain pieces, it's not because people don't want to. I said this in last week's vlog. It's because we don't have the development around how do we actually do this? How do we create this? What does this start to look like? That's where we have to grow. That's where we have to continue to make strides in figuring out how are we, from a whole child standpoint, really making sure that students have a strong foundation through their K-12 experience, because it's all together. Their K-12 all the way into industry and life, it's all one large pipeline, as unsexy as that sounds. And so during that main development part, how are we actually pouring into them?